Welcome to another episode. In today's episode, the question and answer session, we are saying the question, how can I improve my advising ability? The question is, how can I improve my advising ability? Advice means informing someone, suggesting someone, telling an opinion. It is not of much use. You just give your opinion based on your experience, and you may not even seriously bothered about the question. You suggest something, inform something, you won't be taking any responsibility. On the other hand, if you discuss with the other person and find out a solution, first understand the problems, that is more important. Understand their problems from their perspective. Then find a solution to the problem. Or even the other person may not be understanding what is the real problem. So try to gather information from him, try to understand it and explain to him first the problem. Then if you have any solutions to that problem, or even a lead, you can suggest. And another thing is, whatever solutions if you are suggesting, that solution you should be able to follow. If you are not able to follow, but you are advising other person to follow it, then that is of no use. It does not carry any weightage. That is a hypocrisy, and it will not have any positive effect. So regarding this, first we will see a few lines from Life Ahead, a book by J.Krishnamurti. He says, if I am a parent, I must first find out what my son is doing. That's right. No, first you should know what your son is actually doing. You should show interest. If you are not aware of what he is doing, then it's of no use. Parenting, it's of no use. So you should understand what he is doing, what he wants to become in life, what he wants to do in life. Does the parent know enough about the child to advise him? And whether you are able to understand his problem and able to guide him to a better future. Have you studied the child? How can a parent who has very little time to observe his child offer advice? And if you have no time, you are busy with your work, you are busy with your entertainment, and you are not paying attention to the child, then there is no use in giving him an advice. It sounds nice to say that the father should guide the children, but if the father does not know his son, then what is to be done? A child has his own propensities and capacities which have to be studied, not just for the certain time or at a particular place, but throughout the period of his childhood. Instead of seeking advice, may I suggest that we examine the problem together. To follow the advice of another in moments of crisis leads to our own destruction. To follow the advice of another in the moments of crisis leads to our own destruction. Whereas, if we are able to understand the whole implication, like say war, then we would be able to truly act for ourselves. We would not act according to the conditioning. The conditioning is strengthened through propaganda and by various other means to impress upon us the necessity of going to war. As we are now conditioned by the so-called love of the country, by economic frontiers, by ideologies, religious or political, we will inevitably jump to arms. To such people, there is no problem. Their action is definite and clear cut. It is called duty and responsibility. they become the cannon fodder. So here J. Krishnamurti gives one example of the war machinery, irrespective of the country, whether the action is right or wrong. The propaganda is that you should serve for the country political leaders, some of them genuinely or some of them for their own political betterment, they may create a war. And the young children, the young ones, not the children, the grown-ups, they fall for it. They go to war. They think it is their duty. Sometimes it may be when you have to defend your country. Sometimes if you unnecessarily go to a war, the expansionistic idea of a political leader, that is unwarranted. But whatever may be the reason, people may fall for it. So if you understand the problem, this is one example which he is giving. So it is throughout the life for everything. You should understand the problem and act according to it. Just don't fall for the propaganda. Then there is a story, small story we will see regarding this, about advice and understanding or following the advice. This story is told by Osho also, referring to a Sufi saint, but this story is also referred to Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. I think it is more appropriate that it is with Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa that I have read. And in Osho's book, this comes in Great Zen Master Ta Hui of Osho, and I think I have read it in the biography of Sri Ramakrishna, written by Mahendranath M. The Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. I have read it there, I think. So this saint, either Ramakrishna or a Sufi saint, whoever it is, this saint was living. He was famous saint, and in the same city there lived a widowed woman who was bringing up a boy, young boy. And the boy, like all young boys, is playful, good boy. But he had one bad habit. Like every child, he was fond of sweets. But this child was almost addicted to sweets, too much of sweets. So his mother was worried. This is a young child, he has to come up in life. There is no one to support him. And if he is taking so much sweets, soon he will become sick, very soon, at an young age. So she was worried a lot. So she went to the saint one day. Okay, they are regular visitors to the saint. And on such a visit, she had high regards for that saint, and actually the people of the whole city respected him for his divinity. And she took him once while they were in that ashram. She told the saint, see Guruji, this is my boy and he takes a lot of sweets. And you have to advise him. He listens to you. He only respects you. He never hears anybody else's words, but he respects you. So tell him not to eat sweets. I'll bring him tomorrow. You tell him not to eat sweets. So the next day the lady took the boy to the ashram, and she was expecting the Guruji will tell the boy not to eat the sweets. The Guruji looked at the boy. He asked him, so you are taking a lot of sweets? The boy said, yes, I like sweets, so I take a lot of sweets. The Guruji told, yes, I also take a lot of sweets. I am supposed to advise you not to take the sweets. But since I don't follow the advice, I am not going to tell you don't eat sweets. But for 2 weeks, I will stop taking the sweets. If I am able to withstand that, if I am not taking sweets anymore, if I am not fond of it, then I will advise you to stop sweets. So come after 2 weeks. The boy was impressed. He said, that is enough. You are sincere. Many people have told me, my parents have told me, my relatives have told me, my elder people have told me to stop eating so much of sweets. But they were all advising me. They never followed it. They eat sweets. They are taking sweets, but they are advising me not to eat sweets. So I was not very much bothered, but you are sincere. I appreciate that. Maybe I will stop eating sweets. Guruji told, no, come back after 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, the boy and the mother went to the Guruji again. The Guruji told, listen my child, for the last 2 weeks I have not taken any sweets. I am able to stop it. And if I am able to stop it, you can stop it. So stop eating sweets, at least not that much of sweets. And for your information, I have taken a vow not to eat any more sweets in my lifetime. Why should I hanker after sweets? I have left everything. But this addiction to sweets is also with me. Now I have taken a vow to completely stop eating any sweets, any kind of sweets. No more sweets in my life. So since I am able to do that, you can also do that. So the child told, definitely Guruji, earlier the doctors advised me. They thought I'll become sick. They told I'll become sick soon. My mother also had a great worry because I was eating sweets. As I told you earlier, all my elderly relatives told me, advised me. But you have shown it is possible. You have stopped taking sweets for me. And you have shown it is possible. And it is not a mere advice, but you have proved it. You have shown it. So I will stop eating sweets. So that is what real advice means. It is not merely an advice. So you practice it. When you practice it, the other people will automatically follow. So don't advise something which you are not practicing it or following it. That is the moral of the story. So advising is of not much use, but understanding and following is an example. So with this, we will end this episode. Stay with me for another episode. Subscribe to my channel. Share this video. Thank you.